Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. We continue learning the book Tomer Devorah, which talks about the 13 attributes of mercy of God towards the Jewish people. It was written by Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, a Kabbalist of the 16th century. And today we're going to learn the 10th attribute, which means give truth to Yacov. And so this attribute basically points to the virtue of Israel. Average Jews who do not know how to go beyond the precise letter of their obligations are called Yacov because they conduct themselves only according to what is strictly true. So we know that in the Torah, Yaakov, the forefather, when he fought with the angel of Esav, he was added another name. He was added the name of Israel. So you'll see in the Torah, when they read the Torah readings in which Yaakov appears after he fought this angel, sometimes they're gonna mention him as Yaakov, and sometimes they're gonna mention him as Israel. So when it's Yaakov, it's that part of Yaakov that is still struggling. It's also represents, let's say, the penitent, the Baal Tshuva. It represents a person that's always struggling to do what's right. And then when it refers to him as Israel, it's like he conquered. He already got control of his nature, and he's always doing what is right. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu also has an attribute of truth on the side of justice and correctness towards those who are acting in the world with correctness. Hakadosh Baruch Hu acts with truth. He has mercy on them on the side of correctness and justice. So too, a person must treat his fellow on the side of correctness and truth without veering from the justice of his fellow, to have mercy on him with truth. Just as Hashem has mercy on the average people with the attribute of truth to rectify them. So what this means is that when a person does what is strictly required of him, without going beyond the letter of the law, we should treat him with strict adherence to his justice, tempered by mercy. We should give him the benefit of the doubt. So what this attribute is saying is that sometimes we are very judgmental and we feel like people should behave in a certain way, right? And you see, oh, that person could have done more. Like that person could have done more. And we get upset because in the level that you see that person, you feel like he didn't act according to who he is. And here, this attribute, what it's telling us is that we should not judge this person. We should not say, oh, you know what, he could have done better. On the other hand, we should just give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was not feeling good today. Maybe he has another appointment that he has to run out. Maybe he has a problem at home. Maybe whatever. You can always justify. You can always give people the benefit of the doubt, even if it's not true. This is what the Rav Moshe Cordovero, the Ramak, is saying, is that this is what it means, is that we give mercy to the world when we're not judging other people. And that attribute of justice, of severity, when a person judges very harshly, you know, you are bringing that attribute to you too. So when you don't behave according to your level, let's say you fall a little bit down, if you're a person that's always judging people and you're always being very strict about how other people behave, then Hashem is going to be strict with you too. He's going to also look at you in that way. Oh, he should have done this, he should have done that, like he shouldn't have behaved in this way. This is beyond him. So the Jewish nation goes by two names, as I said before, Yaakov and Israel. We know Yaakov is the name, that the person that's struggling, and then you have Israel, which is the name that is given to this nation when it overcomes. And the name Israel means actually leadership, and it refers to the best of our nation, which is the tzaddikim, which is the righteous people of our nation. And the name Yaakov refers to the average Jewish people who do not have such high standards of holiness. So the tzaddikim who go beyond their minimum obligations in relation with Hashem, they do more than what's expected of them. This is the person who will do more than what God asks from him. And in the way that he keeps a mitzvah, he keeps it in the most beautiful way. There's a term that's called mehadrim le-mehadrim, which is it's a hashgaha that they put in Israel to certain kosher foods, which means it's the highest standard. One of the ways that people relate to this is like when you're gonna do a mitzvah, do it mehadrim le-mehadrim, do it with the highest standard. So if you're gonna put your Shabbat table, for example, you're gonna have guests and you're invited people and you're gonna put your table, then you know what? Put the nicest table you can put. Put the nicest tablecloth you have, put the best dishes you have, make the most delicious food you know how to make, buy the nicest flowers and put them in as centerpieces. This is what it means that people go out of their way to do more than what is expected of them. Hashem is not telling you to put the nicest table. He's saying, okay, keep Shabbat, keep Shabbat. Okay, but keep Shabbat. How are you going to keep Shabbat? So a person that goes beyond the letter of the law is a person that during the week goes to the grocery store and he sees a nice piece of meat and he's going to say, Lekavod Shabbat Kodesh, this is for Shabbat. I'm going to put this special piece of meat. It's a little more expensive than what I can afford. I'm going to buy it anyways. Hashem says that whatever I spend for Shabbat and the holidays is you're not going to get ruined by it. Hashem gives you back. And you do this and you live a life in which you're giving the best to God. This is why the whole Torah is about giving the best to God, the Bikurim. We were born to do Bikurim. Bikurim is that when the land sprouts the fruits of Israel, what they used to do is like the first fruit that would come out of a tree they would put a red thread on it to know that was the first one. And that's the best one. That's the choicest one. And that was one that was taken to the Kohen Gadol in the Beit HaMikdash in the times of the festivals. So we see that there's people that do what they have to do and no more than what they have to do. Then you have people that do less than what they have to do. They don't even make this book. And then you have the people that go out of their way and do more than what they have to do. So from here we learn from the Or HaHaim explains that this is the simple meaning of the verse. You shall say to the house of Yacov and to tell Bnei Israel. House of Yacov refers to the simple Jew. Bnei Israel refers to the Torah scholars. And he adds that Rashi explains that the first refers to the women and the second to the men. Is not the simple meaning of the verse, but a drush, like a little allegory. Someone once asked the Rabbi Israel Hager about 130 years ago, who was known as the Ahavas Israel of Vishnitz, the Vishnitz Rebbe, for advice on how to achieve fear of God, how to have Yirat Shamayim, how to have fear of God, reverence of God. And he answered that he had no advice for this, but he could advise how to reach love of God. So he could not tell him how to fear God, but I can teach you how to love God. Okay? And so when a person works on loving God, when a person works on appreciating everything God does for him, he recognizes that everything he is, everything he has, everything he owns, that he woke up this morning, everything is the kindness of Hashem. Then he's gonna love God, and this will bring the Yirat Shamayim. This is what's gonna bring this reverence of God, which really means it's not that you're scared that God is gonna do something to you if you don't do what He wants. It's that you love God so much that God forbid you wouldn't want to be separated from God. So you don't do things that God doesn't like because you don't want to be away from God. You want to be close to Him. So here, the Torah, what it's telling us here is that this attribute of give truth to Yaakov is telling us that we should not harbor bad feelings towards other people. We shouldn't have grudges. We shouldn't want to revenge on our fellow man. And Rashi gives an example of not taking revenge where he says that Reuben asks Shimon, for example, to lend him a sickle, and Shimon refuses because the next day he doesn't want to lend him his sickle. The next day, Shimon asks Reuben to lend him his axe, and he says, because you didn't lend me your sickle, I'm not going to lend you my axe. And so I will lend it to you. And so this is called revenge. This is to hold a grudge. This is because you didn't do this for me, I'm not going to do for you. This is something that is forbidden of the Torah. We're not allowed to do that. If you don't want to lend it because you don't want to lose it, or you don't want to get it ruined, it's very expensive, you're allowed to. But not to give it to someone else because that other person the day before didn't lend you his sickle. This is called revenge. And then the example of bearing a grudge would be if Shimon refused to lend the axe and the next day asked to borrow the sickle, he would say to him, yes, I'm going to lend you the sickle. I'm not like you that doesn't lend things to people. So this is a grudge. And so this is, you're also not allowed to do this. Oh, you didn't lend me, but I'm going to show you what a nice person looks like. I'm going to lend you my thing. And this is, you're not allowed. So the Rashi, he says here that the Reuben, the second case in which Reuben asked for the axe, which there was no reason for Shimon to refuse, there was no harm could come to the axe. Like, there's nothing wrong that could come to the axe. Nonetheless, Shimon, who is selfish, refuses for no reason to lend his axe to Reuben. The next day, Shimon asked to borrow the sickle, which is more delicate and expensive, and Reuben would have a good reason not to lend the sickle, but he was guided by his bad feelings towards Reuben. So he said, okay, I'm going to lend it to you to show you how badly you behaved and you didn't lend me yesterday. So it's saying here that the first case that the person didn't lend the sickle, he's okay. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't want to lend it. He didn't want to lend it. It's okay. He doesn't want it lended. He doesn't want it lost. He doesn't want someone to lose it or ruin it. He can say no. Reuben, who on the other hand lent him the axe, right? And tells the other one, oh, I'm showing you that I'm better than you. It's worse. He's doing a crime. He's doing an avera. He's doing a sin. The one that didn't lend, that seems like, oh, what a bad guy, he's not lending. He's better than the one that didn't that lent to show the other one that he's not like him. So this is what we have to be very careful, that our intentions when we don't lend things, when we don't help people, don't come out of wanting to be a person that is with a grudge or wants to show revenge to someone else. We have to be very careful in what motivates us. And we should always try to act like an Israel. We should always try to get out of these limitations of these feelings that we have and act in a way in which we're happy and we don't judge other people and we help other people to the best of our abilities with a good heart, with a wholesome heart. And this is what this attribute means. And when we act in such a way, Hashem acts with mercy, not only towards us, but He's gonna act mercifully towards the whole world. And the day that you need something from God, He's gonna give it to you. He's gonna give it to you because you act in this way, even if you don't deserve it. So I wanna wish you a blessed week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.